Greetings. My name is James Dowling-Heeley. I'm a biologist and NASA enthusiast, and it's a real pleasure to be back here with West Hartford Community Interactive. Longtime viewers may remember me from some of my nature documentaries that came out around 2007, and it's a real pleasure to bring you some special programming today. Today is March 5th, 2024, and NASA's 23rd class, nicknamed the Flies, graduated at the Johnson Space Center today. That broadcast has been part of this morning's broadcast, but we also are bringing you an interview with Commander Jack Hathaway. He is a South Windsor native, a father and a husband, who was a FA-18 Super Hornet pilot, and he holds degrees from the Naval War College, Cranfield University, and the Naval Academy.
Please welcome Astronaut Jack Hathaway.
Thank you very much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is West Hartford Community Interactive. We're the news station for the town of West Hartford. I actually was just in your hometown last night. I wish I could say that I planned it intentionally as some kind of nice thing for you, but it was actually that I went to see Dune 2 for the second time in Manchester. Then I went to get some food right next to the South Windsor Arena. So
Nice.
I was in South Windsor last night. But also, in addition to, again, saying thank you for joining us, I just want to say congratulations. We watched this morning, and it was a great thing and a great accomplishment.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we just wanted to get started a little bit here. One of the things that, obviously, as an astronaut, is going to be science outreach and education. And you talked about that a bit already with your interviews. And your educational background is fascinating. You have both physics and history accounted for. What would you say to people who are kind of on the fence about STEM and really getting people over that hump in about middle school, high school, where we really start to lose STEM students? How would you try to encourage them to stay in and keep up with STEM studies?
And that's a tough question to answer. I guess my answer would be that I want people to find the material and the topics that they love. And if that's STEM, then that's great. You should get all into it. Math and science is really interesting, and it really opens the world. And having a technical background opens a lot of really awesome opportunities for you. But as you mentioned, I also have a history degree, and I got convinced when I was at university to do that because not all problems in the world are technical. A lot of the problems in the world are people-based, and to understand how people think and people work, a classic education in history or other liberal topics are really important. So if you're a middle school or a high school student and you love math, you can travel the world and even outside of the world with that. And if your interests lie elsewhere, then go that route. Whatever you love is what you should do.
Absolutely, that's a fantastic answer. Thank you. One thing I noticed while looking at the biographies of your class, and I'm not sure if this has been true before, but it looks like at least 5 of the armed forces were represented in your class. And I wasn't sure if there was any sorts of fun inter-service rivalry, or if by this point that had started to fade a little bit.
There's always inter-service rivalry, no matter where you go, whether you're retired or active. We definitely tease each other. We always enjoy the Army Navy or the Army Air Force or the Air Force Navy games that are out there. It's a lot of fun to bring your background and that kind of levity into the office.
Absolutely, that's what I usually hear. I guess a good follow-up question to that is, why did you decide Navy over, say, the Air Force?
When I was in high school, I went to both the Air Force Academy and the Naval Academy on summer week-long kind of tours. One was a sports camp, and one was kind of like an exposure to just kind of like a camp for the week. And each service has their own specific culture. And I was just really drawn to the way the people at the Naval Academy thought, the way they operated, the way they were forward deployed out to sea all the time, and how that meant that they thought and attacked problems differently. And that really just matched with the way that I saw the world, the amount of history they have. It was just super appealing to me to see naval aviators as the latest generation of naval officer that go out to explore the unknown. And that's just what's matched with me. And I think for the Air Force officers and the other officers in my class, their culture or their personalities matched other services cultures. And it's really one of the strengths of our class, that you can have all these people that just think a slightly different way, and we just attack problems from a slightly different perspective. And that allows us to find a more complete and thorough solution to any challenge we face.
Well, thank you for making it very easy to transition to my next question, which is that I assume most people ask you about your background as a Super Hornet pilot, and therefore guess that your teammates lean on you for pilot-related questions. What are the sorts of things that you leaned on your classmates for?
Most of them are smarter than me. So anytime I have a technical question about how a system works or why orbital mechanics works the way that it does, we've got a number of PhDs and super incredibly smart people that I can go and talk to in the class to help me out with that. And the other piece of it is that we do a lot of flying, and T-38 flying and pilot and background is super important, but none of us have ever been in a spacesuit before. And so when we climbed into the spacesuits to get into the neutral buoyancy lab, everyone kind of solves those problems a little bit differently. So it's been really unique and powerful to see that and be able to rely on them for their background and knowledge and how they think about preparing and getting ready and solving the unique challenges in those environments.
I was really impressed by how many of your classmates seemed to discuss the outdoor survival training as one of the sort of highlights of the program. Is that one of the highlights for you as well?
Absolutely. I was a Boy Scout growing up, an Eagle Scout, and I love backpacking. I love getting out the outdoors. The office here has a real expeditionary mindset. Like, the space station is not a hotel. It's an austere environment with limited resources. You're your own plumber, your own cook, your own chef, your own mechanic. You have to do everything. So it's a pretty common thread in the office and in my class to have people that have experience in austere environments, that like to be challenged. And the outdoors is often just a really great way to practice those skills.
Absolutely. What I've been hearing is that there's obviously going to be a great deal of austerity for future long-range missions, including hopefully Mars in the near-ish future. And one of those is going to be quality of life is going to be probably lower than even the ISS missions are used to. Is that something that you all are preparing for, and how are you sort of getting used to maybe close quarters and that sort of thing?
I think you're definitely right that it will be an austere environment the further we get away from Earth, with limited resources and limited ability to reach back to Earth for help. We do things like expedition, like going out backpacking. We go out with the National Outdoor Leadership School to do backpacking trips or other austere environments. We spend time in the T-38 talking to each other over the radio and not being able to see each other. We spend time on the space station, right? Like the office has a lot of corporate knowledge on how to live with just a small number of people in a relatively small volume and how that affects people. NASA as a whole does all sorts of other sorts of experiments, from SHAPIA that's going on right now to other analog type environments, to see how humans perform in constrained, austere, and confined environments before we actually put human bodies onto those spacecraft and send them out to the space station. So there's a lot to figure out yet, but there's a lot of work going on here that's pretty exciting.
I can say personally that the audio log updates from Japia, looks like we're getting the wrapping up signal here, are some of my favorites of the Houston Rabbit podcast. Thank you very much for joining us. And anytime you'd like to come back, or we'd always be welcome to have you.
Thanks very much. I love your James Webb pin.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Just wore it just for you. Have a nice day.
Thanks a lot. Have a good day.
Thank you for joining us for this special presentation. And we, of course, would also like to thank NASA for their help in making this possible, Commander Jack Hathaway for joining us today, and we want to wish the entire astronaut class best of luck in the future. If you liked this content, and if you'd like more, you can always find us on WHC-TV on cable, or by following us at WHCI on YouTube or our other social media channels. For the community, by the community, I'm James Dowling-Heeley. Thank you, and good night.